All right, so without much ado, we'll just start off with our analysis. So I have the list of analysis here. I have the list of analysis here, and then I'll be showing you guys how to actually get all these analysis done. Before I go ahead, I would just like to say kudos to everybody that was able to submit their assignment. I reviewed as many as I could, and I was happy to see so many people actually getting it and being on the right track. So I'm just going to do this right now, so you guys can compare your assignment and see if you actually did it well. Okay, all right. So now let's go ahead. So now let's go back to our. So now the first thing we have been asked to get is employee count, which is a KPI. Employee count, which is a KPI. But before I do that, what exactly is a KPI? What is a KPI? So a KPI in Excel are just values that are used to evaluate the success or the performance of that data set. Let me take it again. KPIs are values that are used to evaluate the success or performance of a data set. So right now, the KPIs that were determined that were going to be used to evaluate this data set are the employee count, average age of all employees, and average monthly salary of all employees. Now, the KPIs serve as a summary. It serves as a summary to give you an overview of your data. It will help you to evaluate the performance, the key performance of that particular data. Now, KPIs vary. KPIs differ from data set to data set. If you are working with a business data set, maybe you are working with a data set that has sales, profit. Now, your KPIs will be different. Your KPIs could be total sales or total quantity sold or profit. Those could be your KPIs. So KPIs differ from data set to data set. But the common thing among them is that KPIs are used to evaluate the performance of a data set. So they provide an overview of that whole performance. So right now, we're just going to go ahead and get the first KPI here, employee count. So I'll go to my data set. And first of all, convert this to a table. Now I'm going to insert my first pivot table. I'm going to insert my first pivot table. All right. So now remember our first KPI is asking us for employee count, which means I want to know the number of employees that I have in that particular data set. So I can do two things. I have an employee ID here. Every employee has a unique ID. For those of us that are working, your ID is not the same as your colleague. Everybody's ID is unique. So we can use it to count the number of employees that are there. I can also use the employee name. I can also use the employee name to know the number of employees I have. So I can drag any of the two, but I'm dragging them to values because I actually want to know the value that is behind the value of the employee name. How many employees do we have? So I just drop it into values, and that is it right here. Let me increase my screen. And that's what you see here. You can see count. He returned the count for me. So the count of all the employees there are just 2,000. So which means we have 2,000 employees on that particular in this particular data set, and we are done. Now the next analysis is asking us to get the average age of all employees. The average age of all employees. Now we have an age column here in our pivot table fields. We have age somewhere here. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to drag the age again and drop it under values. I'm going to drag the age again and drop it under values. But if you look at what it returned for me, it returned sum of age. It returns sum of age. As I taught us earlier, under the pivot table settings, I am going to change this. I don't need the sum. Remember what the KPI asked us to get. The KPI asked us to get average. So I'm just going to come here and change this sum. Click here, value field settings, and then change it to an average. And then I click OK. Now, can you see the average age of all the employees there is 41.23. So I'm just going to reduce these decimal places. So now I've gotten the average age of all the employees that is there. So now two KPIs are done, remain one. The last KPI is asking us to get the average monthly salary for all employees. The average monthly salary for all employees. So what I'm just going to do, I'm going to drag the monthly salary again and drag it into values. But if you take a look right here, it is giving me it returned sum of monthly salary. It returned sum of monthly salary. But what I really need is the average. So I go back there and repeat the same process. value field settings, get an average, and then I click on OK. Now, this is the average monthly salary for everybody, for all the 2,000 employees in that particular data set. So now we are done. We've already gotten the 3 KPIs. So I did everything on one sheet. I did all the 3 KPIs on one sheet. So now, as I said last week, once you're done with any analysis, just name your sheet, name your worksheet, name your worksheet, the analysis you did. So I'm just going to name this worksheet KPIs. I'm going to name this worksheet KPIs. All right. So after doing that, I can move on to my next. I can move on to my next analysis. So my next analysis there is asking me. Now we're number 4 now. The next analysis there is asking me to get the monthly salary by department. The monthly salary by department. Someone is asking me to zoom. The monthly salary by department. Now let us go there. All right, so now the next analysis we're showing is monthly salary per department. Monthly salary per department. Now let us go ahead. Let us go ahead. So I'm just going to create another pivot table. I'm going to create another pivot table. Now remember, our analysis is monthly salary by department. So the first thing I'm just going to do, I'm going to get my department listed out. So I have 6 departments there: finance, HR, IT, marketing, operations, and sales. Now, to know the monthly salary for each of these departments, I'm just going to drag the monthly salary into values. I'm going to drag the monthly salary and put them into values. Now you can see. Now my monthly salary is in. Now I've gotten the monthly salary for each of the departments. And the next thing I'm just going to do, I'm going to sort so that I know the department that has the highest number, that has the highest monthly salary rather. So IT actually earn more in this company. IT earn more in this company. And remember, we are building charts with our analysis. It's not just analysis this time around. So I can decide to use the column chart. Insert my column chart. Now my column chart is here. Now, remember I taught us chart elements. So I'm just going to modify this chart so that this chart is easily understandable or easily understood rather by anyone that takes a look at it. So first of all, I'm going to name the chart. The name of the chart is monthly salary. Monthly salary per department. Monthly salary per department. So I name that. I can get rid of my grid lines. Get rid of my grid. I'm going to get rid of my legend. Then these field buttons, I told us last week, these are field buttons. I can also get rid of them. I'm just going to right click them and come to hide all field buttons on chart. Hide all field buttons on chart. So the next thing I'm just going to do, I'm going to bring my data labels. I'm going to input my data labels, and then I'll get rid of these other axes also. So right now I have modified my chart to my taste, and I think it will be easily understood by anybody that takes a look at this point. So I would next thing, I'm just going to name my worksheet monthly salary. Monthly salary per department. Monthly salary per department. And that's that for that. So now let us move on to the next analysis. So the next analysis is asking us to get an employee count per department. An employee count per department. How many employees belong to each department? We know we have 2,000 overall employees already from our KPIs. So now I want to group them according to department. Which department has the highest or the lowest number of employees? Now we go to our pivot table to insert another one. And then this time I still get my department listed out. I get my department listed out. Now I'm going to drag the employee. I can drag the employee ID or the employee name because I want to categorize each of them according to their departments. So I'm just going to drag that and put them into values. And then I'm going to sort this from largest to smallest. Now, the department with the highest number of employees is the sales department. And then we're just going to visualize that using our chart. So let me use a bar chart. Let me use a bar chart. Let me resort this. So let me use a bar chart. So I'm just going to modify modify some of my modify some of the elements here. Sorry. So I think the next thing is to name the chart. So I name the chart employee. Let me take a look at the analysis again. Employee counts per department. So far, who has been able to get this to who was correct? I reviewed a whole lot of people, so I can't be calling names now because we are so much in the class. But if you have cross-checked your work with what we've done so far, please let me know in the comment section if you know you're on the right track or if you are doing something similar or something different. Laura, that's good work. Emeka, nice work too. So now let us continue. Let us continue. So now we've done this. Let us go to the next analysis. The next analysis is asking us to show an employee hiring trend per year. An employee hiring trend per year. So now let's go to the data set. Let's go to the data set. So we just insert another pivot table. An hiring trend per year. We have year of hire here. We have year of hire. I'm going to get it listed out. So we want to know how the employee is hiring, which year has the highest, which is the year which the company hired most. That's what this analysis is saying. So we want to know the trend, how they've been hiring over years, starting from 2009 to 2024. All right. So now my year of hire is in the rows listed out. What I'm just going to simply do, now I'm going to drag the employee name because it's the employees that we hired, right? So I'm just going to drag that, put them in values, and then I'm going to just do a sort so that the year, so now 2022 2022 was the year that the employee hired the highest amount of people. 2022 with 160 people hired, and 2009 was the time the company hired the lowest number of people, possibly because they just started in that year. So over here, I'm going to use a line chart. So now I'm going to remove this sorting from here because remember we have been asked to show a trend. So when something is trending, is going to there's going to be lows and there's going to be highs. When you see trend, is it that it trends low or it trends high? Is that it's trending or it's not trending at all? So I'm just going to remove this sorting. So now this is how I'm going to leave my chart. So now let me just modify my chart. I'm going to remove the grid lines, the legend, the legend, and remove the field buttons. Like this a bit, and then I'll just name my chart, which is employee hiring trend. Employee hiring trend. Let us see if the data labels will do well. Yeah. Let us see if the data labels will do well. Well, yeah, I can decide to leave my data labels there, and then I get rid of this, and then I get rid of this. So Esther, please take a look at it again. We didn't sort. It's not sorted. I removed the sorting. Okay, all right. So I'm going to rename my sheet. I'm going to rename my sheet. All right. So I think we're done. We're done with this analysis. We're done with this analysis. Let's just move on to the next analysis. So the next analysis is asking us to show the monthly salary by job role. We want to know the monthly salary for each job role. This analysis could be important or necessary or needed for maybe people that wants to get a job in that company. So if this analysis is public knowledge, they can know the salary that is applicable for the job roles in that particular company. So to get that, we get another pivot table. Let's go to our master sheet. We insert another pivot table. And then this time around, let's check the analysis again. Monthly salary by job role. So we look for the job role, list it out. Those are the job roles that we have there. And then we get the monthly salary and also put that in values. And then now we can sort. So the developer role is the role that has the highest monthly salary there amongst all other job roles. So let me bring this out again. So I'm just going to do some little adjusting, just like I've been doing, and then go to name my chart. Remember, I said naming your chart is very, very compulsory. Monthly salary, monthly salary per job role. I'm just going to go ahead and name my sheet there. So one thing I can do again here, I can bring my data labels in. I love using data labels because they make it so much easier for people to read my charts. So now we're done with this analysis. Let's move on to the next analysis. So now the next analysis is telling us to get the monthly salary by educational level. The monthly salary by educational level. Now let us go ahead and carry that out. The monthly salary per educational level. So right now I'm going to get my educational level listed out. So I have three educational levels there: bachelor's, master's, and PhD. And we asked to get the monthly salary. We want to know which of the educational level pays more for the employees in this particular data set. So now let's sort. So the master's educational level, employees with the master's educational level earn more than other employees with different or other educational levels. So we're going to insert a chart. So right now, let me use the donut chart. So let me name my chart monthly salary per education level. I name my sheet that. So in my chart, I can introduce my data labels. And remember, because the pie chart, I can decide to change my data labels. I can decide to change my data labels to percentages. Let me do that again. I can decide to change my data labels to percentages or to percentage. So over here, I just select a percentage and remove the value and then close. Let me bring this out so you will see clearly. And then lastly, so we can see that the master's degree, which is represented by that blue slice, has 35%. The other bachelor's 31 and PhD 34. So that means master's degrees holder in that employee own or are paid 35% share. Are paid 35% share. All right, so apologies, guys. I lost my network there, so I was trying to get more coverage. So all right, so now let's go ahead. So now this analysis is done. We can go ahead to the next analysis. So now we are moving on to the top 5 salary earners. the top five salary earners. Who are the top five salary earners in this data set? Who are the top five salary earners in this data set? So right now we're going to need another pivot table. We're going to need another pivot table. So now let us just insert that. So now the top five salary earners. Right now we're going to be dealing with the employees directly, the names of the employees. So first of all, have them listed out, the names of the employees. So let me make that a bigger. Now we're talking about their monthly salary. So we just drag the monthly salary and put it in values. So now this is the monthly salary for every single employee there. This is the monthly salary for every single employee. But the analysis says we should get the top 10. The analysis says we should get top 10 employees, or is it top 10? The analysis we should get the top five salary earners. So which means the employees that are earning five top employees that are earning the biggest salary in that particular company. So what I'm first of all going to do, I'm going to sort from largest to smallest, and then I'm going to filter because we are asked to get the top five. So I'm going to filter just like I taught us, five, and then okay. Now these are the top five employees with the highest monthly salary there. Now we can go ahead and draw a chart for them. We can draw ahead and draw a chart. So now let me change. I want to use a chart that is not compatible with the pivot table. I want to use one of the charts that are not compatible. There are no duplicates in that name column. Someone is saying duplicates. There are no duplicates in that particular column. If they are, look at the values. Look at the names and look at the salary earned. Look at the names and look at the salary earned. So I don't think there are duplicates in that particular in this particular data set right now. So someone is saying another person is saying sum of monthly salary, not monthly salary. That is what we got. You can see it over here. Sum of monthly salary. It was added. It was added. Mary Jones was not duplicated. If Mary Jones was duplicated, it will show right here on this thing. I don't know how your own Mary Jones was duplicated. We only have one Mary Jones earning 22,198. If there was another Mary Jones, definitely it is not the same salary. So that is not a duplicate. It has to be a duplicate if the name is the same and if the monthly salary is the same, not just the name. Not just the name. All right. So now you're asking me to use ID. How will you can't use ID because the ID would not represent, we asked to know the name of the employees to get the employees that were earning more. So if you use the ID, how will you actually identify the employees? You remember you're analyzing this thing for people that might not even be in that company. All right, let's move on. So okay, I said I wanted to use another kind of chart. Let me just go ahead. Okay, so I remove this and then I name my chart monthly salary per. Okay, now you need to name your chart according to what you analyze because now we got the top five earners. And then I can just do some other modifications. Okay, so I'm just going to name my sheet. All right, so now let us move on to the next analysis. Now we're talking about the next analysis asking us to get the top five longest serving employees. We have been asked to get the top five longest serving employees. So I'm just going to generate another pivot table. This time around, we're still working with the employee name. Right now, we want to know how long these employees have used in the company. We want to know how long each employee have used in the company. And if you go back to the data set, there's actually a column that is talking about years at company. There's a column that is talking about years at company. So right now, that's what we're going to use to analyze these 2,000 employees that we have here. So we know who have spent the most time in the company. So right now, I have the sum of years at the company right here. And then I'm just going to sort. And then I'm going to filter. So right now, these are the top 10 employees that have spent the largest number of years or the highest number of years in the company. So I'm just going to go ahead and get. All right. So I said I wanted to use another chart. Okay. The question says top five. All right. Thank you for that. Please, I don't know. I don't want you guys to cause confusion. Just go back there and filter it and change to five. So please, I would like to know what is wrong. Correct us. I'm unmuting it now. So you are unmuted. I would like to know what's wrong about this analysis. And I will say, can you talk to us, please? Are you there? Please, what is wrong about this
Hello,
analysis?
sir. Hello.
All right. So I'll just have to start. All right. So now let us go ahead. So the next analysis that we are going to be showing right now. So I'm just going to get a chart to represent this. I'm going to get a chart to represent this. Okay. Olusegun, can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? All right. So now let us continue. Thank you. So now let us continue. So I'll just get a bar chart. And then I can change this sorting. And insert my data labels. And I'm just going to name the chart. So now this is top 5 longest serving employees. All right. So now the next analysis I'm going to be doing, I've been using some, I've been repeating some charts, but right now I'm going to teach you, there's something I want to show you guys. There's something different I want to show you guys than what we did last week. So now the next analysis I'll be using that, we are asked to show the monthly salary per agenda. The monthly salary per agenda. So now let me insert a new pivot table. The monthly salary per agenda. So I'm just going to get my agenda listed out and get the monthly salary. So right now, I don't want to use those 5 charts I told us that were compatible with a pivot table. I want to use something else. Possibly, I want to use a tree map. And remember I said last week, for those kind of maps, you need to copy out your data out of the pivot table and just put it on your sheet so that you will be able to use it. Now, last week, I think I told us one of the ways you can do it is to copy your data. Copy your data set. Who remembered? Copy your data sets, copy, and then paste somewhere here. Who remembered? Okay. All right. So now I just want to teach us another way of actually doing that, of copying your data out of the pivot table and put it on your spreadsheet. We are still going to copy it out, but there's another efficient and better way. And I'll tell you why. When we are building our dashboards, we'll be building our dashboard this week. I'll tell us why this particular method I want to teach you now is better than the one I taught us last week of just copying. Now, to copy out your data from your pivot table, just pick anywhere you want your data to be copied to. Pick anywhere you want your data. Maybe I want my data to be copied to this column E and put equal to there. Put equal to there. Then you now select your pivot table. Select the information of your pivot table, what you want to copy out, and press enter. Please let me do that again. Select anywhere you want to copy. Probably I want to copy my data into this column D. Press equal to. Select what you want to copy out of the pivot table. Select it and just press enter. It is going to copy. This is the most efficient and best way of copying data out of the pivot table. And I'll tell us the reason why. I'll still come back to the reason why I am doing it this way. So going forward, please let us try to use this method and not the one I taught us last week. Don't just copy and paste. Put is equals to, select your information and press enter. It's going to be copied into your sheet. So right now, let us go ahead and pick from other beautiful charts that we have. So the tree map, let us see how the tree map is going to look like. Okay, so I'm just going to, now if you look at the tree map, the values are not showing, it's just showing the categories, male, other, and female. So I'm just going to go to my data labels, more data label options, and bring the value out and put the value. So now you can see, if you look at the chart, the value has been added to that particular chart. So the tree map is now if you look at the rectangles look almost the same. And that is why if you look at the values are very, very similar. They just have negligible changes. They are very, very similar. All of them are 4.3 million, just little values that differ each other. That is why we are having the shapes looking at each other. But it is still an analysis. There's nothing we can do because the values are quite close. So we can just name our sheet monthly salary per gender. Monthly salary per gender. All right. So now let me name my sheet accordingly. I'm going to name my sheet accordingly. And that's that for that. So now let's move on to the next analysis. All right, so the next analysis, we are going to absentees by department. Absentees by department. Absentees by department. All right, so now let's go to that analysis. We're going to get another sheet for that. So right now, what this analysis is trying to portray is we want to know the total number of all absentees by department. The total number of all absentees by department. So I'm just going to list out my department first. I'm going to list out my department first. Now on that data set, there is a field there. There is a column header that is talking about absences or absentees. So I'm just going to drag that and put that into values. Now it's going to sum the total number of absentees per employee in each department. So what it does is that you see this finance, which means people in the finance department were absent 4,757 times, and so on and so forth. So now let us sort so that we know the department that has the highest number of absences, and that is the IT department. And the one that has the lowest is the marketing department. So this time around, you can go ahead and get this thing. Let me use the tree map again. Let me use the tree map again so that I can do it multiple times and people know how I'm doing that. So remember, for the tree map, I need to copy out my data. So I'm just going to put is equals to anywhere I want to copy it to. Select my information on my pivot table and simply press enter. Then I can go ahead and build my tree map. I can go ahead and build my tree map. Now you can see the tree map right now has, okay, before I go ahead, someone is asking why I didn't use count. That is what I just explained. It is adding the number of absences for every employee in the department. For example, I'm in a department and I come late 10 times. My colleague also come late 10 times. The third person also come late 10 times. Please, are we going to count those 10 times as just three? No, we are going to add them together. That's 30 times three of us have been absent in the company. That's 30 times three of us have been absent in the company. So you do a sum, not a count. Because if you are counting, you only count three times. Please, I hope you understand me, Mbale. If you are counting, you're only going to count those just three of us. That three of us came late. Meanwhile, we came late 10 times in probably maybe in a month or whatever. So you had them. I came late. My colleague came late. My third colleague came late. We had all our absent. Sorry, we were absent. We didn't come late. We were absent 10 times. My second colleague was absent 10 times. The third colleague was absent 10 times. So we had all the absences to get 30, which means between three of us, we came late 30 times. Or we were absent 30 times. Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying coming late. So we were absent 30 times. So I hope you understand. All right. So now let us go to this chart. Now, let me make this a bit bigger. All right. So we can see there are some, now we can see there are some distinct shapes. IT remains the top department with the highest number of absences, and marketing is the department with the lowest number of absences. So we can just, so over here, the only thing I need to do is just to insert my data labels. I already have a data label that is labeling the department, but I don't have the values. I don't have the values, so I just put the value. I just put the value. Okay, someone is asking if I can help them distinguish between a count and sum. Now, it is you that will do this thing by yourself, spotting the difference, and you spot the difference from the analysis. So I used to tell us as data analysts, when you see the analysis, you are not just required to just jump there and start dragging into rows, dragging into values. Understand what the analysis is going to show. Understand what it is about. That is when you take a critical look at it. That is when you know when to actually count and when to sum. You can see how I broke it down earlier to Mbale when he asked why it is not a count. So it is that kind of thinking you would take to it, that what are they actually trying to portray? So there is really no, because there are different times you'll be required to use the count. There are different times you'll be required to sum. But that answer is in the analysis that you were asked to provide. The answer is in the analysis you have to provide. So you need to do a form of critical thinking on your own to know the analysis, the question they are trying to find solution to. And that is when you will know when to use a count and when to use a sum. I can't tell you now because it's something, is the question that determines what you will use. It's the question that will determine what you will use, maybe a count or a sum. So it is you that will take a look at it and know what is actually being required. All right, so we are done with this analysis. I'm just going to name it. I'm going to name it total absences. And when and sometimes the English use, the word use sometimes will tell you, for example, someone is asking you to do a total revenue, get analysis of total. Anything total is automatically sum. Anything total is automatically sum. So you need to take a look at it before you start doing your analysis. For example, in our KPIs, we ask to get employee employee number. An employee number cannot be a sum because you cannot sum people together. The employee number belongs to people, or the employee name. Those are people. You can't sum them together. You can only count people. So automatically, you know you're already doing a count there. So like I said, it takes some level of critical thinking. Now, someone is asking, why did the finance and marketing stack on each other? Now, the way you drag this chart. Now, let me change the size. Are they still stacked? Can you see? I increase them. They are no longer stacked. If I should reduce the size again, even they will all be stacked on each other. So it depends on the way I'm dragging my charts that will determine if they are stacked. It doesn't matter whether they are stacked or whether they are stacked. Your analysis is already showing like this. The analysis is already showing like this. You have your department listed out and you have your values already also listed out. So Jude, I hope I've been able to answer that. All right, now let us continue. Now, the next analysis is asking us to get the top 10 employees with highest absence records. Now, the one we just did was absenteeism by department, the absences by department, the department that had the highest number of absences. Then now we want to know now the employees, we want to be specific. Which employee had the highest number of absence records? Now, here, who will tell me, are we doing a count or a sum? Are we doing a count or a sum? In this next analysis, top 10 employees with highest absence records. Are we doing a count or a sum? Thank you very much. We are doing a sum. We are doing a sum because we want to know now employee A came late 5 times today, came late 5 times, or employee A was absent 5 times this week, absent 3 times next week, absent 2 times the following week. Now, to know the total absences for that person, you just add all those absences together. 5 plus 3 plus 2. The employee was absent 7 times in that month. So it is a sum you do for this for what we are about to do now. So that is how you know. You think about it and know the appropriate thing to use. So now let us get our analysis. So we said top 10 employees. So that means it's the employee name we're going to be getting. And then we're going to be dragging the absences into the values. So you can either sort first or you can filter first. Anyone is fine. So top 10 employees, let me get the top 10 first. Let me get the top 10. So I have my top 10 and now let me sort them. So now these are the employees, the top 10 employees with the highest absence records. So right now, let us get a chart for them. Let us get a chart for who can suggest what chart? Who can suggest what chart should we use? What chart should we use? Anybody? Fastest fingers. What chart would you like us to use? Or should I just go ahead with the ones I like? I prefer the column chart and the bar chart so more. Okay, bar charts. We have our first suggestion. So we are using the bar charts. Esther, sorry, you came late. People had already mentioned it before you. So we are using the bar charts, and I'm just going to get rid of these bars. So let me resort. I'm going to sort this in the opposite direction so that it shows like this. And so let me introduce my data labels. Let's see how it's going to look like. They look good. So we know now, next thing, our last thing, we just name the charts. Top 10 employees with highest absence records. I'm just going to name my sheet like that. So, all right. So I think we're done with that. So now let's move on. Let's move on. The next analysis now is asking us to get the performance ratings by educational level. The performance ratings by educational level. So now let me just break this down before we start. Now we know there are 3 educational levels in our data set. We have master's, PhD, and bachelor's. Now we want to now categorize this educational level according to the performance ratings. That means every employee belongs to those 3 educational levels. So now we want to group this educational level according to their performance ratings. And if you come to our data set over here, let me make this bigger. We have a column of performance ratings here. If we check the filter, we have excellent, good, needs improvement, satisfactory, and unsatisfactory, which means we want to categorize all those educational level and know which educational level actually has more people that are doing good, which educational level has more people that needs improvement, which educational level has more people that are unsatisfactory or that are satisfactory or that are excellent, and so on and so forth. That is what that analysis is asking us to portray. So now let us go ahead and do that. So we inside the pivot table as usual. So first of all, I'm going to get my performance ratings listed out. Now that's the performance ratings here. I have 6 of them or 5 of them. 5 of them. Excellent, good, needs improvement, satisfactory, and unsatisfactory. Now, the next thing is to bring up my department. Now, can someone tell me where am I dragging this department? Those of us that got it, I want us to show ourselves here. Where am I going to drag my department? Remember, the analysis is asking us to show performance ratings by educational level. Sorry, educational level. So where am I dragging the educational level? Where am I dragging the educational level? Thank you very much, Stephen. I am dragging the educational level to columns. And this is it right here. We have not yet gotten our values. So right now, I am benchmarking the performance ratings against the educational level. I am benchmarking the performance ratings against the educational level. So the next thing I'm just going to do now, because it is performance ratings we want to get, I'll just drop the performance ratings and put them in values. Now, this is the analysis. Now, now let us take the bachelors first. Now look at the bachelors. For the people that had the bachelor's degree holder, 123 of them have excellence performance ratings. 127 of them have good performance ratings. 126 of them need improvement. 128 of them are unsatisfactory, and 128 of them are satisfactory, and 131 of them are unsatisfactory. And you can get the values for other degrees also, for other educational level. Now let us try to visualize. Someone mentioned an 100%. So let me use this, a stacked bar. And I click on OK. So let me make this a bit bigger. Let me remove this. So now can you see? Now look at my legend. The educational level is listed on the legend. The bachelor's, the master's, and the PhD. And then I can just get rid of the grid lines. Now here, I would love to introduce my data labels. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make it white so that it will show more. And that is just the analysis, and that is the visualization. And that will be the visualization. Now, so Esther said you have your ratings on rows. Yes, you can. You still get the analysis. But this time around, your ratings will be listed as the legend. I'm talking to Esther right now. Your ratings will be listed as the legend if you have your ratings on rows. So either way you do it, you're still going to get the correct analysis. Let me show you what I mean. Now let me switch it. I'm going to bring the educational level and put it in rows, and move the performance ratings and put it in columns. It is still the same analysis. So right now you can see it's just a switch. Now the performance ratings are in the legend now, and that is it. The reason why I didn't do that was because they are actually many. That's why I left them as rows, and I put my educational level as this. So if you are done either, you are actually correct. If you are done either, you are correct. But I just chose to do one that will be less clustered. All right. So now the one thing that I'm missing on this chart is my chart title. You can also put your axis titles too, but because of time, I'm trying to skip some chart elements so that we are able to complete this analysis this night. So I just need my analysis performance ratings per education level. So many people were able to get this, but at the same time, some people also had issues getting this. So if you're part of those, this is actually how to do the analysis. It's quite different from the one that we've been doing. The one that we've been doing was very, very simple. Just dragging rows, dragging values, dragging rows, dragging values. But you can see right now, 3 of those fields are populated. There's a value in column, there's a value in fields, and there's a value in column, there's a value in row, and there's also a value in the values column. All right. So let us move on. Now, someone is asking me, why didn't I use the performance ratings with the number for the value? Now, if I had used the performance ratings with the number for the value, let me bring the performance rate for the number of the value. Now, it's listed, look at the performance rate, it's listed as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like I said, your analysis has to make sense even to the layman. Now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So many people might not know what 5 stands for. So many people might not know. Is 5 representing the highest or is it representing the lowest? Is 1 representing the highest or is 1 representing the lowest? So with this, you have more questions. But imagine you are doing something. But imagine this is what you now used. Unsatisfactory, satisfactory. This is easily understood. So that is why I did not use the performance ratings that had the number. I used the one that had the words. And if you come across something like that, this is what you're also expected to do so that your analysis makes sense to so many people without even them calling you to come and explain it. So who asked that question? So Rita, I hope that answers that. So let's move on to the next analysis. Spend a lot of time on our analysis. Let's move on to the next analysis. So the next analysis is performance ratings by department. Performance ratings by department. It is similar to what we just did now. It is similar to what we just did now. So let me get a fresh pivot table. And now let me check that again. Performance ratings by department. Now let's do that. Performance ratings, I list my performance ratings out again. But this time around, let me confirm. Okay, this time around is not educational level, it's department. So I just look for my department, put them in columns, and then I get my performance ratings and put it in values. And that's what I have there. So right now, let me go. So you guys already know the analysis now. For people in finance, 51 people were excellent, 60 people were good, 69 people needs improvement, 70 people are satisfactory, and 67 are unsatisfactory. So who can tell me from this analysis which department has the highest number of unsatisfactory performance ratings? Which department had the highest number of unsatisfactory department ratings? Anybody? Sales, thank you very much. Sales with a figure of 84. So that means 84 people in the sales department have an unsatisfactory performance ratings. So now let us go ahead and visualize. Let us go ahead and visualize. Let me use, should we use this? I don't really like it. Someone mentioned something about 100% stacked bar. So let's use an 100% stacked bar. Let's use an 100% stacked bar. Sorry. So let me introduce my data labels and my chart title. So for my data labels, I can just change the color. It's actually black now, but is not showing because of the deep background of those bars. So you can take your time to do something like this. All right, and then I just name my chart title, which is performance ratings, performance ratings per department. Performance ratings per department. Let me get rid of this. So I name my sheet. So we are gradually winding down to a close of our analysis for tonight. So now let's go to the next analysis. So now this is educational level by gender. Educational level by gender. Who can tell me what this analysis means? I've been doing the explanation, please. Let someone take over for a brief time. The next analysis is educational level by gender. What does this analysis mean? We are all data analysis now, so everybody should be able to answer this. What does this analysis mean? This next analysis we want to do. The educational level by gender. What does it mean? Nobody. Nobody. Okay, I have someone now. Let me check. Which of the gender is most educated? Wow. That's funny. How many males have bachelor's degree, for example? Good. Philemon, I think I'll go with your own explanation. So we want to know, remember, we have three different educational level. So we want to know the number of this educational level per each gender. For example, the bachelor's degree or the bachelor's educational level, how many males actually have that? How many females have that? How many males in that company have a master's degree? How many females in that company have a PhD degree? And so on and so forth. So Philemon was the person that got the best description. And that's what we're just going to do now. That's what we're going to do now. Educational level per gender. Educational level per gender. So I get my, let me confirm if I'm correct. Educational level per gender, so I'm correct. Educational level per gender. Let's get the analysis. And then right now, I list out my gender. I'm looking for gender. Okay, I have gender here. So I list out my gender. Now I can also drag my gender. I can drag two different things into the values. I can drag the gender. I can also drag the employee name because the employee belongs to one gender or the other. So I can drag the employee name and drop them into values. And that's what I have here. Most times it is very, very easy to know if your analysis is correct or wrong. Look at this grand total. Remember our KPI said we have 2,000 employees. So if it's not adding up to 2,000, you already know you're wrong. But because it's already adding to 2,000 employees, I know that every single employee is being represented here. So now if you look at it, so now which educational level has more females? Who can answer that? The females should answer. Males, please don't answer. Females, for you guys, which in this particular company I'm working on, which educational level has more females? Other. Is that one the gender? All right, but that's what we have. Masters. So females, yeah, yes. Roots is the person that got that correct first. So more females, females have more, there are more females with the master's degree than any other degree. So now for the guys, which educational level, which educational level do male have more? I think it's also masters too. Shagun got that. So I think it's also masters too. All right. All right. So now let us visualize that. That's correct. We're all correct. So now let us visualize that. Let us visualize that. So I'm just going to use this. Remove this. I'm going to remove this because I want to introduce my data labels. And so let me throw another trivial question. What is missing on this chart right now? There's an important thing that's supposed to be on this chart that is not there. What should be there? Anybody? There's something that should be on this chart that I haven't imputed. Title. Thank you, Mbale. Title. Title. The chart title. So my chart title is education. Education level. Education level per agenda. Now, as just as other charts, if you didn't do it the same way I did, possibly you dragged your own education level to column and your gender is in row, it is still the same analysis you will get. You will get exactly these numbers that you are seeing on your screen. You will get exactly the numbers you are seeing. It's just that the arrangement of your chart will be different. That means your bachelor's will be the legend, and then your gender will be on that particular axis. So now I think we're done for this. So now let me name the sheets. Let me name the sheets. We still have some charts to go, but no worries. We're going okay. I think we really have two more. We really have two more charts. Now we are doing gender distribution across departments. We are still talking about gender. Gender distribution across departments. So right now we've done educational level. Now I want to do for departments. How many males are in IT department? How many females are in IT department? and so on and so forth. So now let us do that. So I'm going to get another analysis. So up until now, who has been able to get all charts correctly? Who has been able to get all the analysis and all the charts correctly? Possibly I might just display your charts for everybody to see tomorrow class before we. Steven, you are very sure. Okay, maybe tomorrow we'll start with your charts and we'll all take a look at it and how you did it. All right. So the next analysis says gender distribution per department. So let me list out the department. And I'm also going to get my gender in my columns. And then I'll just drag everybody's name because everybody falls one way or the other. And I drag them and put it what? In my values. So you can see now we have the exact number for each gender per department. In finance has more females. HR also has more females. IT has more males. Marketing has, oh, I think I'm getting wrong. Let me do that again. Finance has more females. I think I'm correct. HR has more females. IT, the other department, the other gender rather. Marketing has more males. Operations has more males. And lastly, sales has the other gender as the dominant gender there. Yeah, someone said they use filter. You said you use filter. Good. If you had drugged your gender into the filter, this is how your analysis is going to look like. Now you have a filter. Do you get? But the thing about filter is we have to go to the filters to check for each information. We have to go to the filter. For example, I'll just get for female and do that. Yes, but I don't want to do that. I want it to be displayed for everybody to see. I don't want them to have to go to the filter to get the information. I want it to be displayed on it. If you are done that, you are correct. Just like I said last week. Do you get? So it's your analysis. It's you that know how you want to do your presentation. Do you get? But because I want to do mine, I want everybody to see my own analysis at once. That is why I didn't put a filter. That's good, Esther. It's good. You showed that you know how to use the filter field over there. Okay. So let me introduce my data labels and my chart title. This chart title is gender distribution. Gender distribution per department. So let me copy this. Okay. So for my data labels, I'm just going to, what I did earlier, I just give it a white so that it shows. Someone is asking a question. Okay, you're asking if you use the filter, how does the info display on the chart? Let me show you. And now I'm going to use a filter. I'm going to change this chart. I'm going to drag my gender back into the filter. Now you can see my chart changed immediately. Now it is on the, hold on please. I'm trying to bring back. Okay, let me take this chart from the beginning. Now, look at the analysis. The gender is in the filter button. Is in the filter field rather. So let's get my analysis. Okay, let me sort. Let me do that again. Smallest, largest. All right. Now to show that information on the, someone asked that question. I want to know who that person is. A very good question. Philemon. All right. Now go ahead. And watch. Now over here is where you can make the value show. Right now it is showing for all gender. The chart is showing for all gender. But right now you can see the gender. There's a gender button here and it has a drop down. I'm just going to click on that drop down. And over here, I will now get whatever value I want to check. Maybe for the female, for the male. If I click on the male now, okay, keep your eye on the chart. Now, did you see for males, we have more males in the operations. We have more male in operations. Let us check for female. Let us check for female. Now, can you see? We have more females in the sales. So do you understand? So if you do it this way too, it works. But it's just that for a filter, you have to be the one to be coming to select everything here. Working like a slicer. Damilola, you're showing you know what a slicer is. But don't confuse everybody. We are here to get you a slicer. We'll do slicer tomorrow. All right. So now let me just return this. So Philemon, I hope you're clear right now. Let me return my, okay. So let me change this chart. This is not what I wanted to use. Let me use an 100% stacked bar. I'm going to get rid of these field buttons. I don't need them. Remove my grid lines and then bring back put my data labels. Put my data labels. So because of time, I'll just try to, because I'll still like to take some questions. So let me name this chart. So this chart is gender distribution across departments, gender distribution. Oh, okay. I've already named the chart already. I just need to name. For those of us that are raising our hand, we are going to enter our question and answer session soon. So please hold on till then. We don't take questions while we are working so that there won't be distraction. Okay, so now the last chart. The last chart is asking us to get monthly salary by age group. The monthly salary by age group. Now let us go ahead and build that. So right now I have an age here. I'll get my age listed out and then my monthly salary also listed out. But if you guys should look at that analysis, we were asked to get monthly salary by age group, not monthly salary by age. Let me take that again. We were asked to analyze monthly salary by age group, not monthly salary by age. So now, which means we need to group these ages. They need to be in a group because that's what the analysis is asking us to do. They need to be in a group. And I taught us how to group when we're doing pivot table. So I'm just going to select any of the, please don't highlight. I'm just going to select any of the ages, right click, and come to group. Last time I told us that Excel helps us to denote the starting age and the ending age, the minimum age and the maximum age. So here in my data set, the age is starting at 22 and is ending at 60. So there's nothing for me to do in these first two boxes. But right here, the third box is where I'm going to input what I want to group those ages by. So if I want to group by 10, I'll just leave in 10, and then I'll just simply do an OK. So now you can see those ages have been grouped in tens. Now, please, you can group in whatever number you have because 10 is the default number. Doesn't mean you can only group according to 10. You can group according to 5. You can group according to 20. It depends. But it's going to group according to whatever number that you specify. Yes, I knew someone was going to say they did something else. That's why I said that. So Esther, you are good to go if you grouped into 5. Philemon, you said you suffered to group manually. So that means you didn't watch last class. You shouldn't have suffered at all. So if you did 5, if you did 10, you are good to go. You still get almost the same analysis. So right now, let me get, can I use a donut chart? Yes, I can use a donut chart. The colors are not clashing. And let me remove this. Introduce my data labels. Introduce my data labels. And rename my chart, which is monthly salary per age group. Monthly salary per age group. So ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the assignment review and we'll be able to build multiple charts. Catherine is asking me how I group. Let me, for the sake of Catherine, please just watch again. Watch closely. After we completed the analysis, After we did the initial analysis, this was how, disregard the chart, disregard the chart. Look at the analysis. When we you put the age, when we put the age in the rows and the month and the salary, Katrina, I hope you are following. When we put the age in the rows and the salary in the values, this was what we got. But the analysis asks us to get a monthly salary by age group, which means we need to group the ages. And this is how we grouped. Just pick on any age. Please don't right click. Don't do something like this. Don't right click. Just pick any one of them. Right click on any one of them. You are going to see a group command here. Select the group command. Now, the group command is going to bring this dialog box that you are seeing on your screen. Now, there are three values that you need to fill: starting at, ending at, and by. Now, at the starting at, Excel will automatically denote which age that you are starting with. And you can see on your pivot table, you are starting with 22. And you also denote the age that you are ending with. We are ending with 60. That's why Excel automatically fills this first two. This next one is the one that you concern yourself with. What are you grouping by? Now, if you say you are grouping by 10, that means it's going to start from 22, which is the smallest age, and it's going to count 10 ages and group them by, which means it's going to count 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, or so. And then it will group all those ages as one. And that is what you're going to see next. Now you can see 22 to 31 is a group of 10. 32 to 41 is another group of 10, and so on and so forth. So I hope you understand right now. Okay, guys, just like I said, this brings us to the end of the analysis that we've been able to do on this chart. So right now, I am going to, if you have a question, please signify, use the hand button so that I'll unmute you and then you ask your question. So for tomorrow, we actually exhausted all our time in doing all this analysis, but it was worth the time. So tomorrow, we're going to be moving on to the next phase of this program, which is how to build a dashboard, how to build an interactive dashboard, not just any dashboard, how to build an interactive dashboard. Yeah, Emmanuel, yes, you need to visualize your KPIs, and I'll teach you how to do that tomorrow, because your KPIs will be built on, will be on your dashboard. You need to visualize your KPIs and every other single chart. And that's what we are going to be doing tomorrow. We are going to be learning how to build a dashboard. All right. So now let me go to those ones that have questions. If I call your name, I'll just unmute you so that you can go ahead. So, Ola Oshebikon, please go ahead and ask your question.
Good evening. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good evening. Go ahead.
All right. Oh, okay. So this data set, we've used it before with Ms. Damilola.
Okay.
And why we used this data set when she was doing correction
Okay.
for top five earners. So she created a unique ID aside from the ID that was in the data set because
Okay.
of the volume of the ID.
Okay.
So she created a unique ID, and so we use the unique ID. Well, because before the correction, I use the name actually, because there are some names that are duplicate that are the same thing, like 30 something, thereabout.
Okay.
So it's because, so we now use the unique ID while she was using, doing the correction. So which was the same thing I did. Because when I copy out the names to another sheet, and I try to like get to know that if there's a duplicate in it for this assignment, there are still duplicate there.
Okay. All right. Let me treat that. All right. Thank you. So that you see, it's very, very easy and it's still part of your learning. If you have a data set and you know there are duplicates there is no need to create any unique ID. Just go ahead and remove the duplicates. Because that's, I think I said that last week, that if there are duplicates in a data set, you end up getting wrong answers. Now, what we are doing in class is just for teaching purposes. But if you are out there, if you are out there in the field and you are given any data set, the first thing you need to first of all do is to eliminate all duplicates. So there's no need of trying to circumvent and say you want to create a unique ID. Just go ahead and remove the duplicates. Duplicate is duplicate. Get rid of them and then get your unique data set. So I think this clarifies this duplicate issue. Just any data set that you see that they are duplicates and you've confirmed that they are duplicates, or you just use the duplicate feature. The duplicate feature will tell you if they are duplicates, it's going to remove it. If they are not duplicates, it will tell you that they are not duplicates. So duplicates are some things that you need to first of all check for before you start your data, and then you eliminate them. But in this particular data set, there are no duplicates, because even though the names are correct, the employee IDs are different. That is what I'm trying to tell you guys, that somebody said there is a duplicate. On this particular data set you are looking at, there are no duplicates, because two people can bear two names, can bear the same name. Are you going to eliminate one person for the other? Are you going to eliminate one person for the other? There are no duplicates, because look at the employee ID for those people that are saying they are duplicates. They are not the same thing. They are not the same employee ID. So my name is Jide Jimo now. There might be three different Jide Jimos in that company. So are you going to remove? If you say you want to remove my name, what will happen to the other two people, or what will happen to me? But we will all have different employee IDs, and that is what differentiates us. So please, I hope I've been able to explain it. There are no duplicates in this data set. And that is how a duplicate has to be the same thing across board. A duplicate has to be the same thing across the whole columns, the same values in employee ID, the same value in employee name, the same department, the same gender, the same date of hire, the same year of hire, and so on and so forth. That is when you know you have a duplicate, that this thing was just repeated. So, all right. So I think I've been able to, yes, even if I had used, because I know that there is no duplicate, that's why I use the employee name. Because I know it's still the same thing I'm going to get, even if I use the employee ID. Because the Excel knows that those names are not duplicates. So even if a name is coming up, let me go back to that this thing. Let me go back to that. Even if this person this Robert Gonzalez, even if there are 5 of them on that particular data set, the 5 of them will not have 37 absences, because they are different people. The 5 of them will not have 37 absences. So if there's a Robert Gonzalez that has just 1 absence, it will not be in the top 10. It will not be in the top 10. So there's nothing. So there's nothing. You can go ahead and use the ID and confirm. But remember, I want to show the names, because that's what the analysis asks us. You don't do something different because it favors you. You were asked to show the employees with the highest number of absences. If you are showing the ID, how will we recognize who owns what ID or not? The ID is just a series of numbers. How will you identify? How will you identify? So for those of us so you can use the IDs to confirm, you will still get the same thing. All right, so stage, I'm unmuting you. Please go ahead and ask your question. We have less than 1 minute to end the class. So please, maybe you'll be my last questioner for today. Stage, please go ahead and ask your question. Okay, possibly stage is not ready. So guys, it's 10 o'clock already. We've already come to the end. I know some of you still
Hello,
have
D.
questions. Okay, stage is here with us. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
You kept saying that there are no duplicates, but you didn't try checking for duplicates. We are saying duplicate in the sense of names, not in the sense of jobs. So if you are finding a summation with the names, to pick names since you didn't specify jobs and salary. That's what you are driving at.
That means you didn't get my point.
No, but sir, you are not getting the point you are driving at. You see, we are working with data and we are choosing specific fields as in name and salary. Names are names. If they are duplicate names, to pick those names. And if the salary is different, to pick and add. Because
no,
you can't tell me somebody who employed. No, say I'm coming. You know, there's part of the data set that gives someone 0 years in the company whilst the person started a specific year. There are a lot of errors in this data set. So I think maybe you need to sit down and check, and tomorrow we'll go over it. That's the best. That's the only thing I can say now. Because you think maybe we are challenging you. We use the IDs and the names, and we found out that you get different values for some of the distributions that you've done.
See, if you are still arguing
no,
this,
sir,
can
that's why I said we use
please,
values, we use the IDs and names.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, so like I said, you can go ahead and try it. Duplicates are values that are the same thing across board, not just one name. Because I'm trying to tell you that if you have, now let us take this person for example. Let us take this person for example, Todd Johnson. Now we have 5 Todd Johnson in this particular data set. There might be a Todd Johnson in another department. Are you going to say they are the same persons? No. They are not the same persons. The analysis will not, there are no duplicates on this data set. You can use whatever. Take it to ChatGPT, take it to anywhere. They are not duplicates. So you guys are confusing yourselves with this mixing ID and mixing employee name. Employee ID is unique for everybody. That is why we have 2,000 employee IDs for 2,000 employees. You guys keep missing that, and possibly maybe you didn't listen or you're not paying attention when you. It's not about a matter of challenge. Do you understand? This is not a competition class. It's not a context. I'm here to teach. The employee ID is unique for every single person. So how are they duplicates? There is no employee ID that resembles each other, and each employee ID stands for one employee. So we can have Todd Johnson in 5 different places, but is he the same employee ID? Is Todd Johnson the same person across board? Is it Todd Johnson sales? You will see Todd Johnson in finance. You will see Todd Johnson in HR. This data set has absolutely no errors. They have absolutely no. You guys are not trying to understand that duplicates have to be the same thing across board. There might be 5 Todd Johnson, yes, but are they all in sales department? They are not. They are not. Please check they are not duplicates there. And if they are duplicates, use the duplicate function. Now let us try to use the duplicate function. You won't see any duplicates. You're not going to get any duplicate. Try it yourself. Try, there are no duplicates. Use the duplicate function and try to remove duplicate and see if you are going to get duplicates. All right. So thank you very much. Tonight's class has been a real eye-opener for so many. So like I said, tomorrow we are going to start building our dashboard, and we are going to be using this same analysis that we did this night to build our dashboard. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in tonight. We are going to have another class tomorrow. All right, let's have a good night. Goodbye.